Alright, hello. I'm Adrian. And
Wait a second, I'm not sure if it's...
you're not sure of what?
Okay, we're live.
Yes,
We are now live.
We are definitely live.
Yeah, Facebook, as of 7 seconds ago.
Yeah, there's a 7-second delay.
Yeah.
So, as I was saying, I'm Adrian.
I'm Steven.
These are my fish. And this is Mass Effect 2. Oh, of course, we can't forget the hamster. Space hamster.
Alright, so we're gonna talk about Mass Effect.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about from the ground up. We're just going to go ahead and jump into things here. We're not going to waste time preempting anything. We're going to assume that you have played this game that was released, finished the series in like 2011. We're going to assume that you know what happens. And that you'll be able to keep up with that. So, for a tiny bit context, though, obviously I'm Renegade Shepard, and I'm pretty near to the end of Mass Effect 2, so we did want to start talking about Mass Effect's endings.
Which... Mass Effect's endings, which I think we agree, despite what a lot of people would say, were fantastic.
The two of us are definitely in agreement that despite what the internet seems to be unanimously agreed on, we love the endings. I think we were both shocked when people were saying that the endings were awful. Absolutely, I love the ending, and something I had to say about the other Mass Effect series, the other games, is their endings were absolutely amazing. Like, every ending is always a real banger. It's just a banger.
I mean, I think one thing the Mass Effect team were good at was writing a satisfying story, a satisfying ending that really, summed up everything that had been happening to that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, they did. We gotta talk about Mass Effect 1 a little bit in particular, because the ending to Mass Effect 1, I think, is the most cerebral, despite the fact it's only the first in the series, because you can sort of take Mass Effect 1 in a vacuum. You don't have to continue playing. You can sort of keep in your head canon, however whatever happens with the Reapers happen. It's sort of like they made that game with the intent.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know they were going to get a whole series to answer the question of the Reapers. And that lends itself to a really amazing gameplay style and neurological interaction where you're not really sure if anything that you're going to do in the end actually matters. You just know that you have to do it right now. Sorry.
Yeah, so you're trying to save the galaxy, and
Well, yeah, I mean, they keep saying that. I mean, if you beat the ending of Mass Effect 1, they say the Reapers are still coming. Like, that's an entire speech that Udina makes, is the Reapers are coming and they're out there, and we have to be ready to beat them. And it ends on that note sort of being, like, ambiguous, especially ambiguous about if there's going to be a sequel, but, like, ambiguous about the actual ending of the universe.
yeah.
I'm trying to think about that's really connecting in Mass Effect 2 in general, or in the series in general, because you really are supposed to act, and it does a great job of making you act as though you don't know. Even when you have played the series a massive number of times, Like, it's amazing, just the most minor details. You forget to talk to Nasantia Dantya on Ilos, or no, not Ilos, the Frozen Planet, and she doesn't show up on Ilium. Like, absolutely everything. It's so wonderful how, fuck, this sounds stupid. But it's just amazing how the game forces you to really feel like you're in the moment, even though you've done the same series of actions 17 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there are so many different options as well. Like, you can... The Frozen Planet there, I think it's Ilium, is it called?
No, that's...
I think it's a great example because...
Sorry, did you cut out?
We're talking about the same one, right, where you go to find Matriarch Benezia.
Yeah, that's
Possibly.
the same one.
We're talking about the planet where you go to find Matriarch Benezia, right?
Yeah, and there's the Rachni and the labs.
And, like... It is... Yeah, and, like... You know, there's the bit you have to get to the parking garage, and there's, I think, 4 different ways to do it.
I know, there's so many ways to do it. I discovered a new way the last time I played here a couple months ago. You can actually just be a total scumbag all around, be a corrupt scumbag who has no spine or morals. It's sort of ridiculous. Like, you can just give the data to Annalise and he'll give you, or, you know, the evidence to Annalise, and he'll just give you a pass to get out.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if I'm remembering incorrectly, but I feel like they sort of make fun of you if you go with that route. Like, wow, you're such a wimp. You didn't stand up to that guy at all. He's totally making out like a bandit with that deal. I don't give a shit whatever happens to him. I'm trying to save the galaxy. It was fast for me. You didn't think he made out like a bandit.
Yeah.
I'm saving the world.
Yeah, or you can just be like, yeah, here's your evidence. Now you're going to turn evidence, or I'm going to make life difficult for you.
Yeah. You can blackmail the Turian.
Yeah.
There's a number of outcomes. I love if you bring Rex, he threatens to eat the corrupt guards. Do you know about that?
I feel like I should, because I recently played through that scene with Rex and Garrus in my team.
If you bring Rex, he says something like, I forget what he says, but he straight up threatens to eat the fucking corrupt cops, and they're like, we surrender, and run away. It's a pretty amazing scene.
Yeah. I must have got that wrong, because I had the corrupt cops went for me.
Well, maybe you just don't have enough Paragon or Renegade to be decisive.
Yeah. Well...
That's a fun thing, isn't it? Did they actually lower... I hear they fixed, quote-unquote, fixed the Paragon Renegade thing in the Legendary Edition. I don't know how they fixed it. I've never had any issues being Renegade or Paragon. Just take a side, you guys. Just stop fluctuating.
Yeah, I mean, I often just did fluctuate, but yeah. I
mean, hey,
where they fixed the system.
They made it.
Apparently, they did not fix the points glitch.
The what points?
The infinite Paragon Renegade point.
I know. They didn't fix that. If anyone wants to know about that, you can see in detail on YouTube how to do it still. It is
Noveria, that's the one, Noveria.
Yeah. Noveria, that's right, yeah. It is ridiculous
that's the one,
that they didn't patch that out. And it's ridiculous that they still haven't. Like...
yeah.
Instead of instead of patching that, they made sure that you couldn't have a million credits at the start of Mass Effect 2. That's, great. Thank you. You made the hardest...
I mean, it makes sense because Shepard's dead, but...
They made one of the hardest games in, like, the world already harder. The original designer for this game, just before it was released, like, secretly broke into the room where the files were held and put in a 20% damage modifier to all the enemies and fucking reduced your health by 20%.
Yeah.
Like, they needed to make it harder? And especially this game with the with the penny pinching.
Yeah.
So
apparently what they fixed was that there used to be issues where your Paragon Renegade stat was not displayed correctly.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, well that would be frustrating.
It was in Mass Effect 2. Yeah, in Mass Effect 2 it wasn't displayed correctly, so you couldn't get some of the conversation options.
We'll see. I just always went full Renegade. So it was never an issue.
Yeah.
People are gonna judge me for my team selection
apparently,
no matter what, so I'm gonna bring the worst possible team members.
Yeah, it turns out that basically it was harder to get the best ending than it should have been because of the bug. Which is kind of hilarious.
Good. It's one of the reasons that I love this game, honestly, is it just kicks your fucking ass. It just annihilates you. It makes you feel like you are so bad. Until you get good at it. So,
yeah.
I guess, have we layered the Mass Effect 3 endings conversation with enough sugar? Can we talk about it yet? Or do we need to pile some more whipped cream?
I feel we should.
We should?
Yeah, before we're about to just really upset people.
Okay.
Let's have a bit more whipped cream. Isn't Tali cute?
Tali is very cute. She is best character, best girl.
She's adorable. Like she's just so socially awkward.
Yeah, she's very socially awkward. Probably in no small part because she's only ever seen like the same 10 people in her life until she got sent to the fucking Citadel.
Yep.
Understandable. Very relatable
Where
character.
she almost got killed.
Yeah, almost got assassinated by Saren. So, good for her. At least she's getting her kicks in. Having a very fast life. Good grief.
Yep.
Very relatable character. Also love the racism displayed against the
Just a quick note. YouTube's telling me that our bitrate is lower than recommended.
I don't know what a bitrate
Alright, it's fixed now. We're at an excellent connection. Never mind.
It might vary a little bit.
It seems to just been a lag thing that has gone away. Yeah.
My internet is, like, just on the brink of good. So...
Yeah, I'm surprised mine hasn't cut out at all during this so far, to be honest.
Were you able... What was
Pink
your...
Shepherd, nice.
Yes, very Pink Shepherd. What was your experience with the Quarians in Mass Effect 3?
Gosh, I mean, I remember the Quarians in... It's interesting, I had this idea of what the Quarians were going to be like from Mass Effect 1 with my experience just being of Tali. And I remember getting to Mass Effect 2 and just being, wow, the Quarians are actually dicks.
Yeah. They're... Actually, I remember when I played I mean, I guess I shouldn't be like that because I played Mass Effect 2, but all the dialogue I heard her from the elevators in Mass Effect 1, I was like, yeah, this totally gels with what I saw of them in Mass Effect 2. They're like arrogant to a point of self-destruction and damnation. And they're literally wearing their consequences of their actions on their skin, and are still sort of like
Yeah.
unabashedly unapologetic for their behaviors and actions. Like they are still feel like they did nothing wrong. So when I met them in Mass Effect
It seemed
2,
like they're. Yeah.
well, I was just gonna say in Mass Effect 2, the only thing I was really surprised by, even though it was like my first meeting, and I did see Tally first, but what really surprised me is how belligerent they are. Like there's whole sections of the Quarian fleet who like want to go back to war with the Geth. Like are suicide like they're suicidal.
You know, it's the hubris. You know, they like. Yeah, like they created the Geth, and their hubris basically caused the Geth uprising.
Yeah,
And then they haven't learned.
No, that's exactly. They feel like because they made
it's not
the
their
Geth.
fault that it happened. It's the Geth that were at fault.
Yeah, and they feel like they have some sort of birthright to control the Geth still because they created them. Like it's still their destiny to own and run the Geth. It's the most hubristic, suicidal, fatalistic nonsense I've ever heard, and they're so determined with it. In Mass Effect 3, it feels so good to punch him in the fucking gut. It's such a great thing. Even when I play Paragon, I can't not punch that dude in the gut. Sorry, I was...
Yeah, it's like, throwing the gun out of the window in Mass Effect 2.
I don't always do that, but when
Mass
I do...
Effect 2, you throw the gun out the window, like... I have to, I don't think I could play it and not throw the guy out the window.
It's really hard to not throw him out the window. I've managed to resist a few times, but
Yeah.
it is so satisfying.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude's... It's so perfect. He says something like, what are you gonna do about it? And you just shove him out the fucking window.
You actually say to him, tell me what I want to know or I'll throw you out the window. And he's like, no, you won't.
Yeah.
Okay, out you go.
Yeah, it's too bad that, what's his face, the Drell Assassin wasn't a more memorable, interesting character.
Thane?
Yeah. He finally, I mean, they tried so hard to make him interesting and cool, and it finally paid off in, like, for
I liked what they did with... I liked what they did with him in Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, they took him in the right direction in that game by giving him cancer and putting him on a hospital bed for the whole game until he got shot. That is 100% the right direction. Otherwise, I would have continued never caring about him.
Yeah. At the same time, though, all of the Mass Effect characters have been companions who died in the course of that game. I feel like Thane was the one I cared the least about, to some extent.
How many memes have you seen of people crying about Thane's death? And compare that to how many memes you've seen of people crying about Morden's death.
Yeah, Morden, that was probably one of the most moving scenes in the game.
It's definitely one of the most... I think
the only one that really hit as hard as... Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I think as far as... There were two characters, I think, that really hit hard. That was Morden and Anderson.
Well, yeah, Anderson, because he's been with you forever. He's like your oldest best friend.
Yeah, and, he has been He has been your single consistent supporter throughout the entire series.
I was just about to say, from the very beginning to the very end, he's always undoubtedly just, completely on your side, Shepard.
Yeah, like he's the first. I think he's like the first character that you hear speaking in the game, isn't he? Or is that Udina?
It's Udina.
One of the two.
Anderson's the first person. He says.
Udina, yeah.
Anderson says something like that's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy. So it goes like Udina questions your viability as a Spectre candidate, and Anderson like sort of unconditionally says you're the only right person.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've stopped talking.
I remember the first line is someone's. Yeah. I think the first line it's someone. It's either Adina or Anderson saying, "Well, what about shepherds?" And then, that's followed up with, "Well, we did this, blah."
They do a little. They say, "Oh yes, the character just completed their main character profile sheet. Let's reference that they completed it with a few lines of dialogue."
Yeah, I like that.
It was fine. It's more games should definitely
it's
do
sort of it establishes from the. I think it establishes right from the start that your choice, every choice you make, is actually going to be relevant.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely like it makes you feel like literally everything you do and say is going to be, yeah. Like I said, more games should do it. Yeah. It's nice. And I only say it's nice like that because you don't see a lot of games doing that anymore, but you definitely used to see a lot more games doing that, I feel like. Referencing at least like at the start some of your choices that you made. And that also was a thing for the Elder Scrolls series and the Fallout series of games before Mass Effect.
Yeah. And
God, good. Sorry, I got distracted by the combat and lost my train of thought.
That's fine. So, I think we've pussyfooted about enough now.
Yeah.
The ending of Mass Effect 3.
Good ending. We should discuss.
Let's talk about good ending.
We should discuss the 4 endings.
Yeah, I think. I think the Mass Effect 3, what it did to me, those endings were like basically Mass Effect. Up to that point, you've had this. It's a very philosophical game, and I think we do need to discuss that in detail. But to get there, you've gone through all of these subjects, like what exactly is it to be alive? That is an actual theme. Are synthetics alive?
Yeah. Does this unit have a soul?
What is value? You've made decisions about things like the value of one life versus many. It's covered things like freedom. It's covered the greater good versus the individual.
It's even covered. And it's even covered very
your
large
Paragon
questions.
And Renegade choices have been about that sort of thing. Yeah.
It's also, I want to say, it's covered like choosing
Paragon
societies and
cultures.
Where you have to choose like the Krogan society. You have to choose between the Geth and the Quarians. So you don't just it's even harsher than having to choose between one life or another. It comes into a whole choosing a culture over another, or sometimes even like allowing a threat like the Arachnite Queen a chance to redeem itself, even though it's a massive threat.
Yes, and that's big, and like even then, it's about things like we originally presented the Krogan as being this. Well, it depends. The first Krogan I bumped into was Rex, and that's happened on all of my playthroughs.
The
but I think you can bump into other ones first in principle.
I did not ever recruit Rex, and I did not know he was. Kept waiting to be able to run into this last character or the 2 last characters I could recruit, because I also never ran into Garrus.
Yeah.
So, I always assumed Krogan were kind of just monsters. Until Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
sorry, I could have rephrased that.
I started off, I meet Rex, and Rex. Yeah.
Go ahead, though.
You know, I meet Rex and I get this conversation with Rex about. I started asking him about his life and stuff, and he just starts telling me about the genophage in the most blunt, horrific manner, and it's like, what the shit? But then there's also the thing when I actually encounter other Krogan, it's like, I kind of get it. But
yeah, that's an interesting thing. For
like, there's a bit where you can. I think it's. But also, like, there is the. You look at the Krogan statue, and the holographic assistant on the Citadel gives you an explanation of, who the Krogan, why that statue is there, honoring the Krogan who fought off the Rachni, right before we inflicted the genophage on them. It's like, that is horrible.
Yeah, it's really horrible. I just want to explain.
And then you get Morden who explains why they did it.
Yeah, Morden who explains why they did it, and then further explains why they had to do it again.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you're seeing these opposite points of view. It's like, yeah, Rex, I get what you're saying. This is awful. This is horrible. This is happened to your people. Yeah, Morden, you make a convincing point, but also you're a complete monster. You're Space Dr. Mengele.
Does he make a convincing point?
He does, in as much as if you ignore everything you know about the Krogan, yes, he makes a convincing point.
If you ignore everything you know about the Krogan...
Like, I think if I had... if you haven't talked to Rex, and if you haven't, met the Krogan in Mass Effect 2 yet, then I can see how, what Morden says seems reasonable. If that makes sense.
Okay, I want to do this a bit from my perspective now. Is that some... Ooh, space junk. Cool. So, I played Mass Effect 2 first, and obviously I met Morden pretty early on, and he had me convinced that the genophage was the right thing to do. And for a really long time, I think I committed the genophage in Mass Effect 3 the first time I played it because I was convinced. That's right. Yes. Yeah. I was so convinced by Morden. By the end of Mass Effect 3, I convinced Morden the genophage was the right thing to do, and I saved him so that genophage was still done again at the Shroud instead of curing it. And it took me cause
no, that's awful.
Cause I'm just openly autistic, so when I hear, I heard all the he's like, we've done all the models a bajillion million times. There's no exclusion for, it's not gonna end any other way. Like, I actually took that on faith for the longest time. It took me a fair amount of time to understand that, like, those you can't account for what we today call the human elements. In this strictly human, inhabited reality. Like, you can't, with any amount of mathematics or simulations, ever justify doing that sort of thing. Ever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No.
So, that's just to say...
I mean, Morden is a complete monster.
Yeah, he's an evil, Mengele-esque monster. I guess we shouldn't compare him to Mengele. That's a little bit cruel. He did train somebody to be a Mengele, but he never experimented on anyone who was alive. So, there's that. But he did...
Yes, maybe we're going a bit far, but at the same time, he
ensured...
he basically...
He ensured the infertility of the vast majority of all Krogan for their entire life. I mean, that's maybe even worse than Dr. Mengele.
He basically committed genocide.
Yeah, he definitely committed genocide. Yeah. There's no definition of genocide
even
that excludes that behavior.
even if it wasn't successful, it was still essentially a genocide.
You don't need to be. It doesn't need to be successful to be a genocide. Like the Jew, like we don't say the Jews weren't genocided because there are still Jews around. We don't say the Armenians weren't genocided because there are still Armenians. A genocide just means when there's a massive systemic effort to eliminate a group based on their genetic or sometimes cultural distinguishing features.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Morden did.
Yes.
He's literally, it's literally trying to eliminate, we're not even talking about the endings anymore because it's genophage bullshit, but trying to eliminate an entire genetic attribute or expression or cultural variance with fucking infertility is like, you shouldn't talk to this guy. You shouldn't look at him as like somebody you would want to be around. Like, I really would personally, in real life, would probably not like to talk to that guy. Just being real. There's probably very few other...
But he's a fantastic singer.
Yeah, he's a great singer. I can't imagine he's got a whole lot of opinions that I like, though. Like, that's, like, if he can defend that, what else can he defend? Like, and it takes him so long to rescind on that, too, you know? Like, Jesus.
Like, I think that's what I like about Martin. I love that about him, really. Like, he basically, he's this charming, slightly socially awkward, opera-loving guy. He's really sweet and he's charming, and at one point he expresses the concern that you've got a crush on him. Yeah, and then suddenly he just, starts explaining why he had to why genocide an entire sentient race and why he's going to do it again.
If you are like me, you will take the opportunity to kill 2 Batarians, 3 Batarians, or any number of Batarians every chance you get. So you killed those Batarians that were keeping his nurse hostage. And when you explained what happened, he's like, "Oh, good job killing those guys, Shepard. Murdering those people and breaking your pact with them was the right thing to do because they could have been violent and injured or threatened more people later."
Yeah.
He's fucking so awful.
He has no empathy.
No empathy at all. Complete utilitarian. And
he just runs the numbers.
Yeah, and it's shocking. It really is. I guess there's a theme of a lot of other Solarians doing that. And it really... they're one of the races that I just really feel like I don't like, personally. I hate these file missions. And I was talking, sorry.
And aren't these Solarians... Yeah. Like, when it says the Solarians themselves are, like, genetically modified, aren't they?
I'm not aware of that. Are they? That makes sense, but did they? I'm not...
I kind of... Yeah, I think they're all clones or something like that. I'm gonna double check this, but I seem to remember it being something like that.
That would explain why they're all so arrogant.
Like, that's the thing with Margin being all, "I think you got a crush on me, I'm not interested." Like, they're basically all asexual.
No, because I remember now, there's, when you're doing the mission to find Thane, you also find, breeding records and mating records for some Solarian family, because they keep records of who they mate for their genetic diversity or something. Yeah. Besides, I would imagine that sounds like something they would have added in Andromeda lore, more than anything. So, I feel like we've had enough fun.
Oh, there you go. So, yeah. Here are saying that, Solarian sex drive and reproduction is, like, entirely a necessity and utilitarian.
Yeah,
And
that is a running theme in Mass Effect as well. Is all of the different races are sort of different aspects of philosophical ideas and methods, or political philosophies, I should say. So you have the Solarians, which are very utilitarian, and therefore I hate them, and they are gross. You have the Turians, who are very... they're militaristic hierarchy, sort of similar to like basically the Starship Troopers Federation, and so therefore they are terrifying, and I hate them. And you have the Asari, who are an electronic democracy, and therefore are weak-spined, and I hate them. I'm not racist,
that is
I
fantastic.
swear.
So, apparently in the French version of Mass Effect, the name was changed to Galarian, because in French, Sally Arian could vaguely translate into dirty and good for nothing, and also Sally Arian could translate into dirty Aryan.
Yeah. That is hilarious. That is so funny. God damn it. Oh, I think so. I think my sister's boyfriend is here, but he'll probably just go around back, hopefully. That's the dogs barking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think we've had...
Okay, so the endings.
Yeah, we've had enough fun.
Yeah. We've had a lot of fun here. I say, philosophically, Mass Effect is... Yeah, so the endings of Mass Effect, as I was saying, I think sort of sum up that you've done all of this different philosophical questioning and issues and stuff, and then you basically get to the ending, and you get a choice that I think basically requires you, if you're putting deep thought into this, to actually respond to all of these philosophical issues you have been asked to confront up to this point.
You have to respond to all of the philosophical issues all at one time with the single sort of unified response. And you get your options, which are, in actual fact and reality, the only three options also for how to settle these things once and for all. And none of them, as would be realistic, are very, like, universally
desirable.
Great. Yeah, nobody really wants everyone to, like... That's reality, though. That's how it is in the real world.
Yeah, and so let's go through one-on-one. So we've got the three options. You can destroy option, which is basically you do what you came to do, you destroy the Reapers, but at the same time you're going to wipe out all the technology, all the synthetic life. Or there's the control option where you basically...
Well, you should do synthetic option last. Yeah, the control option...
We'll get back to that. So, yeah. You basically get to... you do protect synthetic life and so on, but you don't destroy the Reapers. You basically become God, and you control the Reapers, and you send them away.
Yeah, well, actually, you just control the Reapers and become God.
Yeah.
You don't send them away. You use them to rebuild the Mass Effect, or the Mass Relays.
Yeah.
Which is sort of even more weirder. You become an eternal God who resolves all issues and disputes in the galaxy forever by imposing your will upon everyone. Because you're a good guy. And Renegade Shepard choosing control will not result in bad things happening at all. I don't know why or how you could possibly think that. Renegade Shepard choosing control is the best possible option.
Yeah, and it's not like we have, seen in every single Mass Effect game these major antagonistic characters who have attempted to control the Reapers and leading to disaster.
Leading to disaster and failure every time, because trying to control them in and of itself is the failure.
Yeah.
The
third... And the third option is synthetic, where you basically... synthesis. You basically cause all organic and synthetic life to merge into one, but not really.
It's so weird. I don't the third one is so weird. It's like you form a new synthetic DNA? What does that mean?
Yeah.
The ending doesn't clarify it a whole lot. Like there's a scene where this dude is like in a fist fight with a husk, and then the synthesis wave comes and hits them both, and then they stop fighting and just sort of look at each other awkwardly. And I remember thinking to myself, like, are they gonna have sex now, or are they gonna fuck? Like, it's not very.
It was really weird.
It's very strange. You see the Reapers like fly off, and I guess
just to be the least satisfying ending.
I wouldn't say it's the least satisfying, but it's definitely the most vague. Like, dogs are playing outside.
Yeah. Like,
it's because I assume if you just give everybody the free will, including the Reapers and the Husks, to do whatever they want, I don't necessarily know why they would stop doing what they're doing, even with the genetic experience of a normal person or whatever. I don't know if you've seen people, but we've committed a fair number of genocides, like, for meaningless reasons.
We are awful.
It's a dog.
Yeah. And we have no moral high ground.
Yeah, no, it's a bit ridiculous to act like just because we put some of our DNA in the Reapers that now they're gonna stop. In fact, I think that's sort of a plot point in Mass Effect 2, that they're taking our DNA to make a Reaper from us.
Yeah, that turns out that's basically all of the Reapers are created from the DNA of the races that they've destroyed.
Yeah, which is really weird too, because then you see all the Reapers, and this is something that bothered me all in Mass Effect 3 since they revealed that, is all the Reapers in Mass Effect 3 all look the exact goddamn same. They all just look like Sovereign and, whatever, the one with the H starts with.
Harbinger?
Yeah. They all just look like Leviathan.
Who assumes control. Yeah. It was odd.
Kelly, feed my fish. There's also, I feel like I could keep talking about the fourth, or the destroyer, or the synthesis ending, but there's also the fail ending. It's technically...
They don't do anything, and the big FU to the fans who complained that they wanted an alternative ending.
Yeah, I thought that was actually really funny also. You want a fourth ending? Okay, here, you can piss off and do nothing and die and lose. But there you go.
Fans actually said fans said we want to be able to refuse this option, this is ridiculous, and then, fine, you can refuse.
Yeah, you can refuse. Everyone dies. Good for you.
Yeah, the Reapers win.
I'm glad you spent all that time in the games to get that very satisfying ending. Where some aliens in a galaxy in a future you don't know survive. Good for them.
Yeah, maybe they make a better choice and actually choose to destroy this time.
Yeah, maybe they actually get a spine and just make a decision. Maybe they just have some principles. And follow through. I mean, honestly, destroy is the most... Hey, Spencer. Destroy is definitely the most, follow-through option. By that standard, by the way, too. You're going there to destroy them.
Yeah, you're going there to destroy them. And, I picked destroy, and it's interesting, because I went there expecting that I was going to get up there and I was going to destroy the Reapers. I did not expect a choice.
Yeah, me too.
But also,
Go ahead.
So, this Mass Effect said before, one of the themes of Mass Effect is like, what is life? What is value? And, I allowed the Rachni Queen to go free and live, and despite knowing what the risk of what I was doing was, I cured the Krogans of the Genophage. I gave the guests sentience for 17 hours or so before I destroyed them.
This is starting to sound
I did all this. I consistently made decisions that were like recognizing the value of life and second chances and so on. I mean, I get told,
like
you can destroy the Reapers or you can let them...
I rode the Hasselhoff.
I've not seen that movie, but...
Yeah.
But, I did all this stuff, and every time is this, like, affirming of, the value, even the worst offenders deserving, continued existence, get to the end, and I'm told this, and just like, I did not hesitate to destroy.
There's not a... I didn't... The first time I played, I chose destroy, and I felt like I didn't have any other options. I felt like the thing gave me these choices, like control or synthesize, and I was like, if you want to give me some other options that are real, I might take them, but like, I'll continue with the destruction, really, thank you. Because, I mean, especially with control, like...
Yeah, like, to me, those were not real options. Like, control, as again I said,
there's really no room for control to be...
As I said at the start, control, that's basically...
Bad ending.
No, they've... we have seen control constantly in every single game. The message has been, if you're given the option of control, do not... it's like in, to reference the game, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, you're told multiple times from very early in the game, don't open it. And then at the end of the game, the option to open it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my god.
And, to me, control was exactly that.
It is exactly that. And it even...
I've been told over and over, you cannot control the Reapers.
And what I like about it is it goes even further, and it shows you, like, Anderson shooting the Destroyer to show you that, like, this is what Anderson would do. And it shows you the Elusive Man choosing control, because it's like, this is what the Elusive Man would do. And it's like, okay, so don't choose that one, that's obviously wrong. It's so clearly selling all your virtues for... That's just a selling your soul situation. It's like... It doesn't make any sense. Synthesis, I have a lot more lenience for, because it feels more like a coin flip sort of situation. It feels, I guess, sort of like, the Reapers and the Husks and the Cannibals and all those things that are in, I assume, excruciating pain and agony at all times, are suddenly given sentience, conscience, sapience, and awareness, and they get a chance to express themselves. So, maybe all those horrific monsters expressing themselves will make some really good art. And...
Yeah,
maybe otherwise they'll just be a lot easier to kill because they're a lot less decentralized now or something. I don't know. It seems more coin flippy than the other endings for sure. Destroy's the only one where you feel confident knowing what's gonna happen for sure. And that's, there's endings where, like, they tell you what happens, and it's like, I can't be made to believe that Control ends like that.
Yeah, like, Control was and Destroy was interesting, I think, because... it has been a theme in Mass Effect underlying as, picking the... the greater good and the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many and so on.
Yeah.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or even the one.
Spock from The Wrath of Khan.
Space Spock, but... And, to me, that's what it was. I wiped out I wiped out the Geth, and at one point I killed Edie, and
Yeah, and you made
But
every
at the
Volus
same
in the
time-
entire galaxy suit just fucking pop. You made every Volus in the galaxy pop like a blister on my ass. Like just... I should have said it like a blister on the ass of the galaxy.
yeah, but we don't.
Whatever.
I don't want to think about that.
Well, yeah, who cares about the Volus anyway, honestly.
Yeah.
They're space Jews, right? So, I guess people don't think about them.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guys.
Yeah, and
You also killed every single person who depends on technology to survive. So, you know,
yeah,
that's a lot of people too.
that is an awful lot of people.
It's an awful lot of people. In fact, you also trapped all of the races in the entire galaxy except for the Volus, because they exploded, obviously, on Earth. I mean, not literally every single person from every... But members of every alien species are all trapped on Earth at the end of Mass Effect 3 if you choose Destroy. Without technology.
Yes.
And maybe with a cured genophage. So, you know...
Yeah.
At least you know what's gonna happen!
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I mean, Destroy may have had some bad consequences, but at least it didn't result in the Geth wiping out all life in the galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. Destroy is, it's so hard for me to choose, honestly, between Destroy and Synthesis, because it's hard for me to square, like, Destroy's, belligerence, and it's sort of like, it's not being necessary with the option of Synthesis.
Yeah.
I also don't really appreciate Destroy's invocation of the abolition of freedom or self-determination. You have the Geth and Edie, who are sort of reflective of each other, discovering themselves, their sapience, their personalities, individuality, and then you just fucking revoke that. You give it to them, and then you revoke it. And that's pretty fucked up. Like, that's really wrong. And you need to have a damn good reason to do that sort of thing. And I feel like when you have the option of Synthesis, to take that option. No? Hello?
You know what, isn't it?
Hello?
Better. Testing, mic test.
You cut out. I think it was just internet cut out for a second there.
That's good. Yeah, but yeah, isn't it better to have lived for a short time than not live at all?
No? Maybe not.
No.
Very possibly not. I don't think that's... No, I think that requires a lot more context to be true. If you live for a brief time and you just exist to be tortured, that's not fair, that's not okay, that's not nice, and it sucks. I mean, these Geth are really essentially babies who exist to be murdered for your own logistical necessity.
I suppose that's true, but...
I mean, I'm not really down with killing babies.
That is... Are the Geth really babies, though? They're more like adults that just popped into existence fully formed.
No, they are definitely not like adults who popped into existence fully formed. They definitely do not... No, they...
They're like Adam. I refer, of course, to Frankenstein's monster.
They're like Adam. Okay, fine. So then they deserve to be destroyed anyway. Jesus Christ, that got me good. Yeah. Okay, well, let's just agree to disagree there. I think because I don't think we can really come to agree whether or not they're like babies, but I think that they did exist during their sapience, only to be murdered and tortured, and I think that's fucking awful, and I don't think that's better than not existing. What is this puzzle?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this puzzle?
I don't know. I'm just seeing you still flying around.
Good. This one doesn't do anything. This doesn't do anything. Nothing does anything.
Okay. Moving on.
Sorry. But yes, moving swiftly on to the next big one. So I guess we ought to make the decision then about which one is the best one. Also, you probably... Do you kill all the Quarians if you do that? Yeah, you do. That's something they mention, is that...
There's one thing about that. Maybe not because... Did they?
They actually specifically mention it's going to take them a couple of years or generations or something for their immune systems to adjust to their new homeworld.
Huh.
And Tally says something like, they're making it way easier actually by adjusting our suits or something. And then if you destroy all their technology and kill them, or if you destroy all the technology, then they no longer are able to protect their immune systems. And they die. At least as far as I understand.
I mean, that is absolutely horrifying if true, but I'm also pretty sure I saw Tally in the ending.
I don't remember how the ending with the Quarians is. I don't remember anything about it in actual fact.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
For some reason, they're like my favorite faction, and Tally's my favorite character, and I don't care about the Quarians after the fact almost at all. But yeah, I mean, I guess if the writers say they survive, they survive.
Yeah.
Sorry, I really got my brain ruined by that puzzle because it still doesn't make any sense. Fuck you, puzzles in Mass Effect. Give me the Tower of Hanar back. At least that one made sense. Sorry, Tower of Hanoi!
Yeah.
Hanar, big stupid jellyfish. Okay, we've spoken about the endings, so let's talk about other things in Mass Effect. And then come back to the endings to help justify why the Destroy ending is the best. The Hanar and their compact with the Drell. Do you know about that? Steven? Hello?
Yeah, remind me?
The compact between the Hanar and the Drell. So basically, the Drell's homeworld was destroyed by overpopulation and overcrowding with limited resources. You know, like Ron Perlman explains in the beginning of Fallout 1. This problem is old as time. Too many people, not enough resources to go around. And then the Hanar came and spirited away something like 10,000 Drell. And then the rest went into a nuclear war and killed themselves and each other. And in thanks...
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrifying. I'm going to talk to Thane right now. And in thanks, the Drell all pledged themselves to forever be the servants of the Hanar. So, I'm talking to Thane now. The Drell act as assassins for the Hanar under this compact. Basically, what will happen is that Baby will be taken by the Hanar at the age of 6 and trained into an assassin from that age for the Hanar. For the Drell side of the deal. And the Drell see this as totally voluntary and acceptable state of affair.
That's absolutely terrible.
It's fucking disgusting. Like, when you find out about this, and the Hanar doing this, you're like, okay, let's write another name into the genocide list. I'll pencil you in right below Batarians. It's really horrifying. How fucking depraved this entire galaxy is at this point. And I really think, like, even though I think killing everyone is completely wrong, the fresh start that Destroy will provide is a really good argument as well. It's re-leveling the entire playing field, and, like, for example, breaking the compact with this completely bullshit sociological deal where the Drell are just permanent so-called willing slaves to the Hanar's political desires. Like an entire race who exists to be subservient to another one. It's really bad. It's not at all comparable to like how the Volus are client race to the Turians.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's another instance of Mass Effect's famous political philosophy in action.
Yeah.
It's I forget which form it is, but it's sort of a form of it's sort of a form of contract, isn't it?
Social contract?
It's sort of a form of social contract. I guess maybe a mockery of a social contract theory.
Uh-huh.
The Drell can remember every memory. Perfect memory. Yeah, so... I don't know. There just seems like... in Mass Effect and also in the real world, everybody and everything is so fucked up, cruel, disgusting, and evil, and so established with their cruel villainy that one of the best things you can do is just destroy everything. Destroy and ruin all of that basis, and then force everybody to start anew on the basis of their own merit, like, skill.
Yeah, I feel like there's a kind of personal freedom here. So I mean, it reminds me of not Mass Effect. Sorry, Deus Ex has always had
Oh yeah,
the freedom ending,
yeah.
which has always generally been destroy shit and let people build it for themselves.
I thought
And I feel like that's what Destroy's doing.
I called that the good ending when I was a kid.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I thought it's interesting. When I played the original Deus Ex, to me there was no option. Really, I was going to become a god because I was gonna, people couldn't be trusted and everything. It kept that going. By the time I got to Human Revolution, I was like, no, that's wrong. I am going to kill all the people that want to control folk and let people make their own choices.
That is so fascinating. I'm the exact opposite. But when I was playing Deus, it was like never an option or a question. Like I don't even remember feeling like I had choices to become a god or anything. Like it was just always gonna be, all you people are too powerful and need to be destroyed, and there needs to be Republican democratic virtues. And now I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Obviously, I need to become the all-powerful, all-controlling god, or you people won't be able to wipe your own asses.
Yeah, alright.
I need to have more power.
Yeah.
Just so that the world can run better.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
But, sorry, just to... I still have to feel like the Destroy ending has some... I have to contest the freedom aspect to it a little bit, because you're completely revoking the freedom of so many other races. The Geth, as I said, the Volus, probably others that I don't know or care about.
That was my problem with Synthesis. Yeah, like Synthesis was a no-brainer to me because that was completely revoking any sort of agency. Nobody consented to be essentially turned into a completely different new form of life.
Absolutely, nobody consented, and more so, I would stretch to say, nobody.
That was playing God just as much.
Nobody has the ability to consent to something like that. Nobody can make a informed decision to become a new sort of like living creature thing. Which is why consent in that situation doesn't matter in the first place. Much like I said before, a slave can't consent to denying their own freedom because they don't have the freedom to do so. The thing is, you have to sort of stretch the logic.
Epictetus would have something to say about that.
I know he would, and I have to, even as it is, you have to stretch the logic a little bit and hold that like what you're doing to them is giving them freedom, and that what the Reapers were doing before wasn't of their own free will and volition, which it very well could be.
Yeah.
There's not really any reason to suspect that Sovereign and whoever... There's no reason to, like, after all their millions of years of life, there's no reason to suspect or think that they're just artificial programs anymore. That they're just computers doing things, that they're just fulfilling a task. Like, at this point, it's made pretty clear that they have wills, intentions, personalities even, that vary from one to another. That's why Sovereign is a different entity from the other one, and that's why they use words sometimes like I and we. Like, we have heard of you, Shepherd. Like...
Yeah.
I don't think it's... but again, that's sort of... The bigger question there, I think, might be, is what do you value more, freedom or life? Because if you take it for granted that the Reapers are not free, and the Husks are not free, and so on, and that you are giving them freedom, then that might be more valuable to you than the consequences of that freedom. Whereas in Destroy, you're basically saying that life is the most important thing, and also people should be allowed to have their own lives where they're able to, where I'm not actively fucking destroying it in galactic purges with a wave of my hand. Which is a little hypocritical, by the way. I don't know if that's really sustainable philosophy.
That is an interesting question.
I mean, it's... The three endings, as we were saying before, are not supposed to leave you feeling, or anyone feeling like everything is satisfactorily resolved. And it presents one of the oldest issues ever in the human condition, which is what happens when you... So there are these values that you have, like...
Holy shit, how does your shepherd's face look like that? Is that his natural skin color?
That is his natural skin color. Please don't be racist.
Oh, no, I'm just meaning it's hard to tell because of the red eyes and the glowing lava cracks. I'm like, is that his skin color, or has he actually turned like that because he's so evil?
That's so fucking racist. Wow. I worked really hard.
I did not mean it to come out that way.
I know what you meant, but just the particular words you used to express that was... You could have used different words. But yeah, I worked really hard to make him look...
I know, I'm tired.
It's fine. I worked really hard to make him look very threatening and scary. And also, this is not how he looked in Mass Effect.
See, this conversation here, actually... This conversation here is exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. You know?
Yeah. So, sorry.
Like, this is the sort of thing... This conversation ties right into, you know, what's going on with the endings.
Yeah, exactly. It does. Oh, goodness, what were we talking about again? I lost my train of thought. It's so hard to think while there's a controller in your hand.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
For real though, I forgot what we were... Just before you asked why if my face was like that, what were we talking about? Do you remember?
No.
Good
Sorry.
God. That's fine. We'll just move along on to another topic.
Yeah, actually, at this stage, I think we do need to wind up. It's almost 11 here. I've got to be up early.
Thank God. It's really it's getting quite late here too. The girls should be getting home really soon as well.
I don't want to accidentally say anything else racist.
You didn't actually say anything racist. It was just very amusing how that came out.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, I think we will wrap it up, though, here for real quickly. We will confirm Destroy Ending, Best Ending. Endings to Mass Effect 3 were good. You need to get over it. And form some principles. Thank you.
Yes.
We're gonna go to bed now, probably. Oh, I know. I'll go show my fishes for a few
feel
seconds.
free to drop us some
Yeah, feel free. Please interact with us on any level.
Yeah. Give us some likes and comments if you want. I think it's been, 6 months since the last video we do. Maybe we'll do one in another 6 months, maybe sooner.
We will
no idea what it'll be
these,
about this time.
We'll likely be doing these with more frequency now, just simply because I'm not going to be a foster father much longer, and I'll have a lot more time. If you'd like to make any specific requests, Steven here does have a PhD in philosophy. If you'd like for us to discuss any topics in relation to Mass Effect, or something else, please drop it down in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, just like Shane Dawson. We love you so much. Have a great time. Bye.
Bye.
I fucking hate YouTube outros. I don't know what I'm supposed to